Okay, I'm going to be doing something a bit different today. And before I tell you what I'm going to be doing differently, I'm going to explain why it's also a little bit differently before how I'm going to do the video. That is differently, if that makes any sense. Okay, so this is my first ever Patreon video request. If you want to request videos as a patron, please donate to the Patreon down below for $10 or your original equivalent. That way you'll get to make me do a video for you. Of course, there is a disclaimer in there. It can't be too long, and I need to have information that I know of personally about the topic in order to do it. I can't just do a video on a topic that I know nothing about. So anyway, let's talk about what is also a bit different about this video. So for those of you who were around a certain part of drama that I covered, that if I barely mention their names, these people will be triggered about themselves, but we can't be telling them about that. You'll notice that something's got leaked about me, and that is, I used to write poetry as a kid, and, well, teenager, but I was pretty much a kid really. So basically, I used to write it up till about the age of 18, maybe. Then I stopped. And now I'm responding to a poem, a very bad poem. So I thought, well, let's write some bad poetry in response and recite it to you guys, like Dr. Anna McCam. So that's what's also a bit different about this video. So, without further ado, let's do this.
It is without fear. It is without fear that I say I am proud. On a day, just one day when so many have been taken. At a time when no one seems to care why.
I'm afraid to say that, my dear, what you seem to see and what you seem to hear may not be the reality that stands before you. For unlike yourself, I see the reality, I really do. As the death toll stands so very high, the only question that I have heard muttered in cries, why?
Only who?
If indeed they ask who, is that not a natural inclination? As far as I know, shooting the LGBTQ in a club far away was not done by a Jew.
After months of national dialogue mired in not so thinly veiled hatred, and after countless threats to my own life, hashtags will not bring them back.
Hatred is a very strong word, for when 50 of your brothers and sisters now lie dead, is it not natural for this emotion to be heard? For everyone calculating fearmongering ideologue, there's 10 who just want an open dialogue. Those tweets that you show don't appear to be aimed at you. For your group is not an individual, I don't judge you by what they do. But when one man commits a crime, can you lend me that same gesture too?
I am not surprised that so many were taken. Because going through the motions is a simple matter of routine now. It wasn't us. We didn't do this. Hashtag not all men.
So I guess it was too much to ask to not be defined by the other men who commit foul deeds. For is it not an adage to judge not by arbitrary traits and creeds, but to judge based on character and action, to be a part of one man's dream? But now all I see is a movement that is hateful that does judge. The dream has now crumbled, it seems. From this unwavering hatred you do not budge. From this refusal to see the truth, you do not budge. For the crime was not committed because he was a man. It was committed because he was part of hashtag Islam.
Not all men. But don't blame the culture, they say. Don't blame the culture for this isolated incident. Don't blame the culture for the actions of one man, and yet he was a man.
They say don't blame Islam, don't blame that. I have seen countless people blame good Americans, for it is not the religion that seeks death to those who don't fuck to their standards, but the culture that makes tea taste like flame retardants. But to you, neither is the case. It's not culture creed, nor is it really race, but one of the other arbitrary traits, the only other trait that you can treat with prejudice and blame his actions on, because he was a man.
He, yes, he had a gun, and he was not an isolated incident. He is an expression of our culture, of our combined intent to silence and destroy.
Eileen Carol Wernos killed 7 in 2 years. Sylvia Seagra shot 10 people with a rifle, killing 3. Amy Bishop killed 3 and wounded 3 in a meeting about biology. Jennifer San Marco, the butcher of Goleta. Let's not forget about Brenda Ann Spencer. What reason did you say? Well, there aren't no reasons when you don't like Mondays. What have they got in common? It's she. But we don't blame the women, we blame the one referred to as he, the men.
Of our unwillingness to act and of our acceptance that vigils are the new norm.
The left call for more gun control, the right call for more guns. But what more can be done when we start pointing our fingers at a whole demographic of sons, nephews and fathers, a whole demographic of clay shooters, enthusiasts, collectors and hunters, a whole demographic of liberals, artists, students and teachers, when we refuse to address the elephants in the room. When we say to Islam, we get labelled racist and xenophobic. Oh, what's that? You must be Islamophobic. And when one tries to utter that it might be mental, you all shout, don't attack the disabled. How dare you utter such problematic verbiage? You need to check your privilege.
It is without fear that I am proud, that I am LGBT. A statement I may die for, a fact that is no longer deniable and that should never have been denied.
It was an utter shame, no human crime. To be yourselves, our ancestors did deny. But please, I implore, do not blame us, the descendants. For we are not the ones killing you cause of our tenets. The sins of the father are not borne by the sons. So why do you blame us all still? It's not the 99% who kill you with guns, that throw you off rooftops and cheer when you're killed. We don't blame all of you for when a young boy is molested, so please refrain from that when you're protesting.
It is with a heavy heart, and it is without shame. It is for every taken soul, and for those souls who have yet to be taken, that I am here, that I am proud, and that I weep today.
Although I am 3,000 miles away, across a vast and icy ocean, although I am a man, I'm not gay but heterosexual. Deep within me I feel a deep and powerful emotion. It is of the deepest sympathy that I give to the people of Orlando. But the main one is not that sympathy with me, but is the most powerful. It's called empathy. I extend it to all who are in hurt and when their spirits start to wane. But if I don't put myself in their shoes, will they help me when I'm in pain? But you don't extend that to half of all humanity. Instead you blame us and not the religion of peace for their deaths of the 50. Your words are hollow, vapid and in vain. You do not give these people justice. You do not give these people peace. More divisions, more hate, more anger and suffering is all we gain. Their memories, their feelings, their pain is not just yours to keep. It is for all of humanity, for all people, that I weep.